Okay. Well, one thing you should know here at Holy Covenant, we do live stream the sermon, just the sermon, and it's just on me. The camera is on me, so that nobody else is going to be seeing. You're not going out across the, I was going to say the airwaves. Oh boy, that does date me, doesn't it? Across the internet, it is just on me. So I need to stall a little bit, make sure we are live. We are live, we are good. All right, so welcome to our friends on the internet, and let's begin. Will you pray with and for me? Holy One, open our hearts and spirits to your wisdom as we speak and hear today. May all our words be messages of your love and grace. Amen. And the world turned upside down. That seems to be what Hannah's describing, doesn't it? Everything we think we know will be changed to the opposite. The strong will be shown to be weak. The powerless will rule. The poor will have all that they need. The rich will become poor. The hungry will be filled. Childless people will have many children, and those who have large families will have none. The mighty ones are brought down, and the powerless are raised up. A complete reversal of how things are now. Well, in some ways it sounds really wonderful, doesn't it? For the marginalized to be given power, the hungry to be fed, the childless to have children. How wonderful is all this? A dream come true indeed. I think often of my friends who, for whatever reason, were not able to bear children. And so they adopted or were foster parents or fantastic aunts and uncles, the best ever. And how their hearts had ached to be parents for so long. I think of the faces I know at the soup kitchen, or that I knew at the soup kitchen back in Maryland. It's called the Shepherd's Table, where I helped serve meals 2 or 3 times a month. My son Ben helped too. Back he was about 10 at the time, and he loved serving out the desserts. That was his favorite job, because those were generally everybody's favorite, the desserts, right? And so people liked to see him coming down the rows of tables with the dessert cart. You know, he'd be pushing the dessert cart, and they'd be like, "Oh, Ben, here comes Ben with the desserts." And to not even need places like the Shepherd's Table, to not even need them, because everyone has enough. And for those of us who are LGBTQ, to not even have to think about coming out. For it to be a non-event. To simply be able to say to our parents or family or friends, "I have a date with so-and-so Friday night," and to have it not even matter who it is that the date is with. Or to be able to come to them at the age of 8 or 10 or 12 or 20 and say, "You know what? I've realized my gender identity is different from how I've identified so far in my life." And have it be okay to be able to get the medication and surgery or any other treatment you want, if any, without there being any hassle or drama or political interference. That really would be the world turned upside down, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? But you know, there's another side to this that I didn't even realize until I was thinking about this and writing through all this. What about the mothers who lose their children? That she who has many children is forlorn. Or the once satisfied people who are now going hungry. The once housed who are now homeless. I don't know if that's exactly the answer either, to take away from people. And I totally understand the satisfaction of karma doing its work, believe me. There's something very comforting about the idea of arrogance brought low, of cruelty made to pay the price, of greed curbed. We like revenge. Give them a taste of their own medicine. It's what they deserve, right? But I have to say, no. Homelessness and the death of your children, hunger, marginalization, and assault, these should not happen to anyone, right? While it might be satisfying to think about them happening to people who inflict them on us, who aren't people we care about, to want them to happen to others merely puts us on the same level as those who do them to us. It would make us no better than them. In a world truly turned upside down, there would be no hunger at all. That's sort of thinking sideways, isn't it? We want to think about, okay, they're going to get theirs. But no one would be hungry in a world that was really upside down. Homelessness, the death of your children, hunger, marginalization, assault, these should not happen to anyone. While it might be satisfying, it's not right. People would have exactly the number of children they want and can care for with love. People can love who they love as they are drawn to love them without fear or judgment. People can identify as they are without fear or judgment. No one is pushed to the margins for any reason. Now that, I think, would be God's realm, right? That would be the world upside down. And clearly we don't live there, not yet. But there's obvious evidence of it all around. I don't need to list it, just watch the news or skim through social media. Tomorrow, Holy Covenant's hosting a Trans Day of Remembrance service to remember our transgender siblings lost to violence and by their own hands in the last year. This year, the list contains more than 400 names from around the world. That's more than one a day. Every day, somewhere in the world, someone is killed or takes their own life because they are being bullied or outcast because of their gender identity. Trans people turn the world upside down in a special way, a good way for some people, allowing us to see the world in a different way, offering new and different views of what it means to be human, not simply male or female. For some, though, that reversal, that upside down, is threatening. And so they lash out. And so we remember the siblings that we've lost. And yet, that turning upside down brings hope too, and joy. When we remember the hope, and we remember the joy. Now this week also marks Thanksgiving in the U.S. It's a bit mixed up with colonialism. But I want us to also remember that that first feast that we celebrated, that Europeans celebrated together with Native Americans, the Native Americans provided much of the feast. And so we offer thanks for their generosity. And we do have much to be grateful for. While we may have illnesses or health issues, we are able to be here in church or to watch online. We have warm, safe homes, loving friends and families, chosen or biological. We have food in our cupboards and clothes on our bodies. We have power to our homes and clean water to drink, at least most of us. Let's not forget Flint and other places, and water to bathe in. Most of us have cars to drive or access to public transportation. We can read and write, and we have access to the internet. We have health care. It may be expensive, but we have health care, right? And reasonably affordable medication. Most of us can afford luxuries like pets and vacations. We don't always think of them as luxuries, but they really are, aren't they? Some of us have college degrees and even advanced degrees. We wake up in the morning to the beauty of nature and we can revel in it all day long. Even if we don't always see it as beauty, but there is beauty even in a snowfall or a rainstorm. Our bodies, even though they don't always work the way we want them to, especially as we age, are incredible marvels. They walk us from place to place. They digest pretty much anything we put into them. They heal themselves incredibly well, in spite of the way we often misuse them. And look at the beautiful variety of colors and shapes they come in. I could go on and on. Our minds, our hearts, our partners and friends. Indeed, we have so much to be grateful for. Between our gratitude for what we have and our awareness that all is not as it could be lies our knowledge that the world can be turned upside down, can be changed. We know what can be, and we know what is. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. That doesn't mean that the last won't get anything. Rather than winner take all, maybe redistribution is in order. We all have abundance of something, as we discovered last week, right? And we all are in need, too, aren't we, of something. In that final reckoning, that metaphorical day of judgment, so to speak, our abundance and our needs will be reversed and shaken and tossed together like a salad. Our abundance will feed our neighbor's need, and our need will be filled by another's abundance, and everyone will have enough, and no one will be in want. In all God's many names.